Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to the bomb shelter. I'm your host, Jay Murder and Mayhem McDowell.
Whoa.
And with me is my co-host, Kevin.
I'm just regular Kevin.
Skull and Crossbone Schumm.
I didn't prepare for this. Kevin Gary Schumm.
There we go.
That's my
it
real
rhymes
real
with
name.
scary.
Oh, that's true.
There we go.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Our movie this month is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, man.
You don't really know much about Halloween. Halloween, the barriers will be down between the real and the unreal. And the dead might be looking in. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red. Halloween, the children.
You happen to know anything about this Cochran?
All I can tell you, mister, is watch out.
Season.
He's watching you, friend, I guarantee you that.
Trick or treat, trick or treat.
Hey, Mr. Cochran, just what is the final process? Fellas, I was just kidding.
Witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment.
Hey!
Where are they taking her?
They're taking her to the factory.
I want a mask. Can I have a mask?
Just what I had in mind for you, little buddy. Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason?
I've got nothing here to indicate there was ever a body at all.
Operator, this is an emergency.
I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it.
You've got to believe me.
They're going to kill us. All of us.
Stop it!
Halloween. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. Happy Halloween.
Stop it!
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
Season of the Witch.
That was the trailer for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, 1982 horror movie. Classic?
Nah.
I don't know about classic.
You know what I wanted to do? I kept thinking we should say, to trick our huge listening audience.
All both of us?
All both of us, yeah. To say something like, our movie for tonight is Halloween 3. You know, just
get their hopes
get them
up.
excited that, oh, it's going to be Halloween. No, Halloween 3.
Except it might be on the file when they download it. So
That's true.
They may have been in on it already.
Yeah, dang it.
Dang it, we got to work on that.
Okay, so, but yeah, 1982, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yeah, as the title implies, this is the third in the Halloween movie franchise, following 1 and 2.
Yes.
Amazingly enough.
Yeah.
This movie, it's an interesting movie. It's starts out, you got a murder-suicide in a hospital emergency room with a guy claiming that they're going to kill everyone.
Yeah. First he says they're coming for us or something, or they're coming for me or something like that, and then later
they're going to kill everyone.
They're going to kill everyone.
Yeah. He's murdered in the hospital. The on-call ER physician is then drug into this tale of an insane toy maker who's really into Halloween, and actually more to the point, Samhain, the way back precursor to Halloween.
Yeah.
And his plans to myrtleize a bunch of kids and use them as a sacrifice.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know. It's one of those things. So why do you want to kill? Why do you hate people so much? I don't know if they really get into that. It's just more, I want to kill.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
They never really. He said why he was doing it.
Yeah.
It was, well, actually, the doctor did. But,
yeah.
But before we get into that, let's tell who is in the movie.
Yeah.
At least a few of the people. There's actually quite a few people, but only 3 main people.
Yeah. There's only really 3 characters you need to care about, and
the rest either die or die.
Yeah.
I think they all pretty much die.
They all pretty much die, or they're just not important enough to really remember, besides just a quick...
There are a lot of Smiths in this movie, and we'll explain that here shortly.
Yeah.
The movie itself, it was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. I don't really know too much about Mr. Wallace.
No.
Other than he is apparently also a writer, because his name is on the writing credits. The movie was also originally written by a gentleman by the name of Nigel Neal. He had kind of written it without being just scary to be scary, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess the plot of the movie is basically the same, but Dino De Laurentiis said, who was he ran the production, not the production company.
What is he?
Distributor.
Yeah.
And said he wanted more gore, and Neil said no.
No.
And so he asked that his name be taken off the credits, and Tommy Lee Wallace kind of did a rewrite.
Yeah.
From what I read, basically the plot stays the same, but he added in the three masks tying in with Halloween 3.
Yeah.
And all that. So
yeah, his name was forever stricken from the record, except for when the internet happened, and then now we all know again.
Now he's like, I didn't want to be
Yeah.
associated with this movie. The cast, like we said, is a little bit short. We have Tom Atkins, who is Dr. Daniel Chalice, I believe.
Chalice, yeah. He's really the only, and I don't know if you could even, with a straight face, say the big name actor, but he's clearly the most famous actor in the movie.
He's that guy.
Yep.
And I don't even know if it's that guy because we've seen him in a lot, or if he's got a very generic, not even doctor look.
No, he's
more of like a mafia thug. Or a gang thug.
To me, he looks like a Chuck Norris who kind of let himself go and ate a lot of Twinkies.
Yeah.
He's still kind of a tough guy, but I might actually be able to beat him up. I'm not really sure.
I could at least possibly outrun him.
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Atkins, he was in Lethal Weapon, Escape from New York, and I believe the original Fog.
Yeah, the original. So John Carpenter, two of those John Carpenter movies.
Yeah, so maybe he was kind of one of his stable actors.
Yeah.
The leading lady, such as she is one Stacy Nelkin, playing Ellie Grimbridge. Our notes say nothing.
We always put notes saying, well, what else was this actor in? And for her, I typed nothing.
Looking a little deeper, we did find she did a lot of bit parts and like Chips and A-Team and stuff. And really nothing. I mean, there were parts with names, but
I think this might be her high. This may be her most leading role, possibly.
Yeah, I'd probably. In looking at the list of things she's been in, Halloween 3 falls on the downhill side of her.
Yeah,
because she was only active till about 96 and then 08. But she didn't do a whole heck of a lot. And she wasn't a bad actress in this movie, but she just
not at all
didn't do a lot.
I think her. Well, I don't know if this is the right time to say it, but maybe her experience working with Tom Atkins doing those sort of scenes just was like, well, maybe I don't want to be an actress.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, we might get to those parts.
Yeah.
Our bad guy is played by, and I'm going to probably butcher the last name, even though I'm part Irish.
Yeah.
Dan O'Herlihy. O'Herlihy.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
You do it.
His name is Connell Cochran in the movie, and he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
He'd been in several things.
Yeah.
Nothing I really recognized offhand.
Me either.
So there you have it.
Yeah, it's really three characters that you need to care about. There's a ton of other people in the movie, but they're in it for such a short amount of time or are just not really noticeable if they are in it for longer that you just kind of don't care.
They're in it, but there's so many, not really so many people that have speaking parts, but there's so many bodies in the movie that you kind of get lost in who's actually in which scene.
Yep. And they're all dressed the same, which we should probably start getting to so that all that we're saying right now makes sense.
Yeah. We start the movie off with turns out it's Ellie Grimbridge's father running from the Silver Shamrock factory with the Silver Shamrock mask and saying they're going to kill us all, they're out to get me, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he makes it to a gas station. The gas station takes him to the doctor or to the hospital, to the ER. The most barren ER I've ever seen in my life. There's like 3 people.
I don't know if they're out in the middle of nowhere where there just isn't much action, or maybe it's just a slow night, or
that's what. Well, she did. The first nurse, she did say that it was a slow night, but one patient, really?
Yeah.
So I'm think it's a little bit of Slow Night and they're kind of off the beaten path.
Yeah, probably both.
So,
he's in the hospital.
He's in the hospital, and then he's mutilated by an employee of Silver Shamrock.
And he's holding a jack-o'-lantern mask.
Yes.
He won't let go of it.
Yeah, won't let go of it. Yeah, which we thought was odd because he's taken in unconscious. Nobody's taken it out of his hand.
Yeah.
Then he's admitted, and he still has it, and he's in a hospital gown.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
So they were to change his clothes, but weren't able to get
weren't
the
able to
pumpkin
get that
out of his hand.
fist. And and then he's died. He dies, and it falls out of his hand finally.
Yeah.
And the Smith, which yes, we will get to that again, goes out to the car, douses himself in gasoline, immolates himself,
and
exit.
Huge explosion.
Yeah, big explosion because cars from the early '80s apparently were made out of nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
So
there's the mystery. It's the doctor played by Tom Atkins. What's his character's name? Daniel
Chalice. Yeah.
We'll just call him Dan.
Yeah, Dan or Dan. Tom. I'll probably keep calling him Tom.
I'm going to call him Tom. Let's just be honest. So yeah, that's sort of the mystery. He heard the guy say they're going to kill everyone, and then the guy gets murdered, and then the guy that murders him blows himself up,
which he witnesses. He
witnesses that. Yeah.
And he sees him do it.
He after that, he's walking down the hall and sees the daughter. Well, actually, the daughter comes in to identify the body.
Yes, when the sheriff is still there and everybody's still there.
And then the sheriff is there. It's kind of funny. You have a scene where you've got like every character you expect, and they're all in the very like strict, typical clothing. You got the policeman, you got the doctor. You've got the fireman.
Well, and the fireman is only wearing the helmet. He's
just
wearing
the helmet,
a uniform of some sort, but a helmet
and with
to
a big
identify
F on
him.
it,
Yeah.
And then you got the investigator in the hallway. You know he's an investigator because he's writing on a notepad and he's talking to a nurse.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, where's the Indian? Where's the
Indian and the construction
village?
worker?
Yeah, the construction worker. They weren't there.
They were out getting donuts.
But yeah, the daughter comes in, the beautiful daughter, which is important, comes in to identify her father. Yes, it's him.
Yeah.
And Tom, I don't know, he's kind of on the lookout for a new wife or a new girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
because he's always kind of watching the ladies.
He's very hands-on.
Yeah.
I was his count 82, so I was 10, 11.
Yeah.
I don't remember sexual harassment being so prevalent.
Yeah, and accepted.
And accepted, but apparently it was.
Yeah.
He's grabbing handfuls everywhere.
Sort of our running joke watching it this time was, so before any of this major crap happens, Tom Atkins is walking down the hall with a nurse. And you've learned through a quick scene that Tom Atkins is
divorced.
Divorced possibly recently. He's got 2 little kids.
And he's always, because he's a doctor, he's always having to break his commitment to take the kids.
I can't take the kids. I can't pick them up.
Yeah, and the ex is getting a little ticked about it.
Yeah. So he's walking down the hall with the nurse, and he's just, it's pretty clear that he's just joking, but he says, they obviously get along, and he says, well, maybe I should have married you. And then he kind of, does he pat her? Or
pats her butt.
Or pinches or something,
and then she pats his, and it's like, okay.
But it was like, so that was sort of a running joke. Anytime there's a female, it was Tom Atkins saying, well, maybe I should have married you. So it was,
pinch.
You got to, with movies like this, sometimes you got to keep yourself entertained because the movie doesn't do it for you.
Yeah. This wasn't a horrible movie, but sometimes you just got to make things work.
So that made it fun.
So yes, there were a lot of people he should have married, apparently.
Yes, and next on the list after the nurse was the hospital victim's daughter.
Yes.
Who is,
he made a move on really quick because the movie takes place
it's 3 days.
Few days before Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're reminded of this because skipping ahead, the way that Cochran plans on sacrificing all these kids is he's going to get them to wear the silver shamrock masks that have a piece of Stonehenge in it, and he's going to play a commercial, and it triggers the Stonehenge thing, and it makes bugs and snakes come out of the mask, and it's really disturbing.
It's really like the child will die, and then you don't really see with children, you don't see what the head looks like afterwards, but something bad happens to their head, and bugs and snakes come out of.
Yeah, and it's
probably,
since I'm not a fan of really either one.
Yeah,
it's not.
That's all you want to. Yeah, that's all you want to see.
So, going back to that's what Cochran's plan is to take everybody out.
Yeah,
and I totally derailed where I was going.
I know.
With this.
Where we were going with this was. It's hard to explain because there's pieces without just telling the entire story straight through. It's hard because then you're kind of not telling people what things mean, and you might as well just watch the movie then.
Yeah.
So what we were talking about is how quickly he makes a move on the daughter.
Okay. Yeah, and that's right. The days going up. There's a countdown every day. Silver Shamrock plays this commercial.
Yeah.
And the song will get stuck in your head if you watch the movie. And so every day, it's
three more days
till Halloween,
and then 2 more days, and then 1 more day, and then.
And I think it's at 3 days when Papa Grimbridge is killed.
Yep.
And they make their move to figure out Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
2 days later. And they're already getting going.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of time for grieving.
Yeah, her father dies. The on-call. Yeah, really in a really bad way. The on-call doctor who doesn't save him, but just was there to witness it all.
But did witness the guy burn himself to death.
Yeah, and that's where the mystery comes in, where basically Tom Atkins he's going to figure out what's going on. The daughter, of course, is part of that because she wants to know what happened to her father.
Yeah.
But yeah, like literally I don't know if it's the next day or even that same night. No, it must be the next day because it happens at night. The death happens at night. So it must be the next day.
Yeah.
They're already basically sleeping together, which is weird. I mean, usually when a close relative of yours passes away, you're not in the mood to start a new relationship.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are. I haven't had it happen.
Everybody deals with it in their own
That's
way,
true.
apparently.
Yeah. So anyway, they intrigued by this mystery and her being sad about her father, they go to the city or the town, the headquarters of Silver Shamrock,
which is Santa Mira,
California. And they check into this little.
And things are weird. They notice right offhand when they drive in. Santa Mira is a little town with this factory. The whole town's built around the factory, and they're driving in, and they notice everybody stops and looks at them.
Yeah, like who are these people? They don't belong.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
They know they don't belong in this town, and they even mention they're like it's like being in a goldfish bowl. You know? And there's weird things like there's cameras all over the city, and the curfew 6 o'clock. This voice comes over loudspeakers throughout the town. It's 6 o'clock, time for curfew, including cats apparently.
Yeah,
as we see,
even cats have to abide by the curfew.
Abide by the curfew, and so we're given a little history as to the town. It was nothing for a while, and then I can't remember the name of the first guy who built the toy factory.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then some Irish dude came in and he made Silver Shamrock. He took over and made Silver Shamrock novelties. And apparently somehow along the line, witchcraft.
Yeah, and that actually, speaking of that, I guess that I was going to ask a question earlier, and it always, I don't know if this is the right time to tell the story, but when I was a little kid, I watched the original Halloween, of course, because it seems like all of us watched it when we were a little kid before we should have been watching it.
Yes.
And probably saw it's a long time ago. Probably saw Halloween 2, and then Halloween 3 available at the video rental store down the street from my house.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, what's this? And from the box I could tell, okay, this isn't Michael Myers. Otherwise he'd be on the front or the back, or it would talk about him.
Yeah.
But Season of the Witch, it just sounded so creepy to me, and the picture on the front was pretty scary.
Yeah.
I remember. But then watching it this time, when we started watching this time, I'm like, wait, besides a witch mask, what's Season of the Witch? I mean, it's not like there's a major witch theme, but I guess that's sort of the witchcraft.
Well, the witchcraft
was involved. Yeah. But I think as a kid, I expected there to be like a witch in the movie.
Yeah,
or something.
well, when you hear witch, you're thinking Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
Wicked Witch of the East.
Yeah,
there is a mask. There's a witch mask. Because there are 3 masks. There's the skull, the jack-o'-lantern, and the witch.
But it's not called Season of the Skull or Season of the Jack-o'-lantern.
Well, it's also not called Season of the Witch Mask.
Yeah.
You know?
Or season of this movie sucks.
Which would have been more appropriate.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, they get to the town. They notice a lot of weird things going on. They meet Mr. Cochran through rather unfortunate circumstances for another character.
Yeah.
Who isn't in very long, but it's pretty gory. I don't remember how they wound up at the factory the next day.
That's where I started falling asleep. I was hoping you would remember.
Oops. I hoping you would be paying attention.
That was when after I woke up. I wasn't asleep a long time, but when I woke up, that was when I said, I think I need some coffee.
Yeah.
Let's pause it for a second. You're seeing the inner workings of the bomb shelter.
Yes, the bomb shelter where we doze off during movies, apparently.
And then pretend like we know about them.
Yeah, act like we know everything about this. Okay.
How about we say this? Somehow they end up at the factory.
They end up at the factory, and it's the next day after the woman's...
Yeah.
Basically, her face blows up.
We know that because that happened at night, and we also know that because that's when they have the two main characters have their first main hookup.
Yeah,
the day after her father
really
died.
Bizarre. So they wind up at the factory, one or the other, and this other family that showed up, this really obnoxious man and his wife and super obnoxious child.
Yeah.
He apparently sold the most silver shamrock masks in the country. And you're kind of let in. At one point, he's talking to his wife, and he goes, "I don't know why they won't let me order
for
my
next
batch
for next year.
next year, because I like to be ahead of it." Well, that's because
there won't be kids
not
next year.
Supposed to be,
yeah.
And the wife even says, "Well, haha, maybe there won't be another Halloween," which I told Kevin was kind of funny since the next Halloween movie, it took like 6 years before they made it.
So there almost wasn't.
So, the guy and his family are being given a tour, and he asks to, if the doctor and Ellie can come along.
Yeah.
I say sure. So they're going around, and they start noticing just things are weird.
Yeah.
There's things the Cochran's a little cagey about what's called, the final.
Oh yeah.
We're really prepared this time.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, it's like the final. You're led to believe it's the final process for making the masks.
That's right.
It is.
Yeah.
In a way, but he's really cagey about it, and he's pushed, and he goes, "Well, no, it's toxic stuff, and we don't want to expose you to it."
Yeah.
And, okay, cool. Well, while they're walking around, the doctor and Ellie decide, it's time for us to leave, and they find Papa Grimbritch's car.
Yeah.
Which is very poorly covered in a garage.
Yeah.
And they go over to see it, and then they're stopped by the Smiths around the place.
Let's talk about the Smiths.
Yeah, let's talk. The Smiths is a reference to the Smiths from
not the band,
not the good band, from the Matrix movies.
Yeah.
These guys, they're robots.
They're all dressed in suits,
and one of them even looks like Agent Smith.
Except he has reddish hair, I think.
I thought Agent Smith had reddish hair.
I don't know, maybe not. Maybe so.
Wow.
But yeah, they're all similarly dressed. They all have their hair combed in a similar way. They all kind of look the same.
No, they did make them some, because there was the redhead, and then
there
was the guy with the white hair.
I just mean you're not meant to believe that there's like a uniform, so like you got to look like this. Not that they're all clones or anything like that.
Yeah, and it turns out they're all robots.
Yeah,
and but we kept making jokes about this way, Mr. Anderson. And things taken around. So anyway, when we say the Smiths, that's what they are. Yeah, and it's not Morrissey and Johnny Marr. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would have been better.
That might have been a lot better. So hijinks ensue. They go back to the inn that they're staying at.
Yeah,
and they're figuring things aren't quite right, and the doctor keeps calling back to this other woman that he sexually harassed at one point.
And almost wanted to marry.
Yeah, almost wanted to marry. They even kissed.
Yeah.
she works at the coroner's office, and she's digging through the debris of the car, and she keeps noticing there's no bones, there's no teeth, it's just pieces of car, which she thinks are pieces of car.
But
Turns
it's
out it's
robot.
a Smith,
Yeah.
and she ultimately doesn't see the end of the movie, but he's going and trying to contact her, and then he comes back to their room, and the really annoying fire alarm music starts.
Yeah, he walks into the room and we think, oh, the smoke alarm is going off. Maybe someone lit something on fire. And then a minute later you're thinking, no, it's still going and he's not there anymore. Oh, it's just the music.
Yeah, it's John Carpenter music.
Yeah.
So Ellie has been kidnapped. Doctor goes to the factory to try and find. Well, he dodges a bunch of Smiths around the town.
Yeah.
Gets to the factory and then is captured, and is shown. Well, Ellie's in this room.
Yeah.
You know, she's tied up, and you can't get to her. Ha.
Then the typical, let me show you my entire plan before I kill you,
hubris,
Mr.
yes.
Bond. I mean, Tom Atkins.
Yes, Mr. Atkins. No, Mr. Atkins, I expect you to die. Yeah, so you get the whole thing. We find out that this is where we find out they're putting pieces of Stonehenge into the mask, which I don't understand.
It just seems...
It's movie magic.
Yeah.
They show him everything, and then they show him how it's going to work.
Yeah.
And they get the really annoying family, put them in a test room, and then turn on the Silver Shamrock music, tell the kid to put his mask on, and this is where we see the horrific results of it. And then the mom passes out, and the dad is bitten by a rattlesnake, and dies like immediately. I don't think that's how it works. I don't want to find out, but
nope.
But anyway, they end up dying. The doctor sees this, and he looks a couple times like he's going to pass out, or he needs a drink.
Yeah,
because that's another thing he's known for is drinking.
Drinking, yep.
And so they take him, and in typical movie bad guy fashion, doesn't just kill him. Nope. Or at least doesn't kill him quickly.
Yeah, just shoot him.
Yeah,
like in the Austin Powers movie, you know, Dr. Evil's son saying, just shoot him.
Yeah, just shoot him.
Yeah.
Just shoot him. No.
Now, of course, he ties him to a chair and is going to kill him by putting the mask on him and showing the commercial in front of him.
An hour and 10 minutes beforehand.
So you sit here for an hour and 10 minutes and don't try to get away.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. Get comfortable.
Yeah.
So he manages to kick the TV, get some glass, break his bonds.
Crawl through
manages to wing that mask and put it over the camera.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Kudos to you. Good
job.
Doctor. Good job. So he gets into the ventilation shaft. He crawls around. He finds Ellie. How, I don't know, but he manages to find her.
Yep.
And he does have a pretty good idea. He figures out that somehow the commercial is triggering
something in the mask.
And he figures out it's the Silver Shamrock disc.
Yeah.
So he takes sneaks over to the computers.
Yeah, somehow knows how to do something on this really weird computer that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, that sets off the commercial.
Yeah.
Then he dumps the buttons over a railing, and
they explode and kill a lot of the...
Take out the text, take out the Smiths.
Yep.
And Cochran is standing there. He gives a little slow golf clap. And then the computers in a circle all start glowing.
Yeah.
Stonehenge starts glowing, and they send beams out, and that kills off Cochran.
And he dies for all the gore and like creepy bugs and snakes in the whole movie, Cochran just kind of disappears, which is sort of a letdown. It's like...
He looks like Cold Miser, from the Rankin Bass cartoon.
Yeah.
He just turns white and frosty and then...
Disappears.
Yeah,
it's just, you would almost think like, okay, this should be the most gruesome of all the deaths now, right? Because he's the worst. He's the bad guy. He should get it the worst. Nope. He just gets away easy.
Poof. So we go. They get away. Find out that Ellie is not who she seems.
She's actually a robot too.
And the doctor fights her off. He manages to make his way back to the beginning of the movie.
The gas station.
And somehow he calls one person who's in control of 3 stations.
3 television stations who will be broadcasting this commercial at a certain time when all the kids are supposed to be watching.
And so he gets 2 of them to shut it off, and then these kids show up at the gas station wearing the masks. Commercial starts up, and instead of kicking the TV or turning it off, he just stands there and screams,
Stop it! Stop it! Which is what I was thinking
like 5 minutes
into the movie. Yeah.
So, and then the end.
Yep.
So there you have
So
it.
yeah, not really a uplifting ending or he won or anything like that. No, nope, he lost.
Yep, you lose.
Although Cochran lost too. But
True.
this is probably a great time for to gather our thoughts, take a break, give you a break, give everyone a break.
Give everyone a break.
And then we'll come back.
We will be right back. Welcome back to the bomb shelter.
Halloween.
Halloween. That's stuck in our heads. We hate you, movie, for that. Just for that one thing alone.
I know.
Okay, so we're back. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yep.
AKA, Where's Michael Myers?
Yep. Yeah, which, now that we've kind of discussed what the movie is about and who's in it, as a kid and most people seeing it the first time, the one thing you think is, hey, where's Michael Myers?
Yeah, where's the slasher?
So, well, that's an interesting story, and Jay's about to tell you.
Well, as everybody knows, the first two Halloweens were fairly successful. I mean, the first Halloween definitely was.
Yeah.
And the second movie, for those of you who have seen it, no, but those of you who haven't, it takes place almost immediately after the first Halloween ends.
Yeah, the final scene of the first one, it's the next movie starts, a minute later.
Yeah. So it's almost like they made one big long movie and then cut it into two.
Yeah.
When Carpenter and his partner Deborah Hill were approached about 3, they were like, no, we don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
Because they had an idea for what they wanted to do with the franchise since it took off. They wanted to make it, and I think this would have been really, really cool if done well.
Yeah.
They wanted to make it an anthology kind of franchise, meaning each movie would be different and self-contained and not related to the rest of them, except in the fact that they are called Halloween and they happen around Halloween.
Yeah.
And in this case, there was to be no Michael Myers. There was to be no slashers. It was the whole idea of using witchcraft and involving Samhain and all that. And in theory, on paper, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea. I'd like to see that.
The execution, it's where it failed
a
little bit. But they do still manage to get Michael Myers into the movie.
Yeah.
The Halloween movies, the first two, well, the first one, is treated as a fictitious movie, as a movie in the movie.
So characters
in the universe.
Yeah, characters in Halloween 3 can watch the movie Halloween on their TV because in their world that's a movie.
Yeah, in their world it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
And you see a commercial for it, this is coming up tonight on Channel 30, and it's pretty cool. I like that. It was really, really kind of a cool idea.
Yep.
But because this movie didn't perform well, and it's not horrible, it's not. I hate trotting them out every time, but it's not macking me bad. But
why it's. I don't know that it would ever be a good movie, but I think one thing that makes it bad is just how good Halloween is. It's sort of hard when you're called part 3 of something that's that good. You kind of need to be good.
Well, and I think it was kind of sprung on people. I don't know that it was actually put. Well, when you think about it, when Halloween was made, it was self-contained.
Yeah,
they weren't going, okay, maybe we can make more movies. I mean, everything after that, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all those, it was like, if we can make a franchise out of it, let's make a franchise. Yeah. So I think what hobbled it is the fact that you had the first 2 movies that were set in Haddonfield, that were Michael Myers, that were the same universe the next day.
Yeah.
And then you just spring this instead of saying, hey, the first 2 were this is what we're doing, or saying that in the beginning or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people were expecting that. A lot of people go, oh, where's my slasher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so that really, I would say that was probably the thing that hindered it the most.
Yeah. I wonder if this would have been unrelated and just if it would have just been called, the movie would have been just called Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
If it would have had a little bit better reputation, just because it wouldn't have that.
It probably
connection.
would have been more of a, eventually just like a little kind of cult movie.
Cult classic type thing. Yeah.
And,
It's not bad,
so.
and there's some interesting and some neat things in it, but it's just
it's almost borderline TV movie though.
Yeah,
in
that's true.
production, and there's things that keep it from being a TV movie.
Yeah.
In fact,
like Tom Atkins.
Oh,
but
wow, did not need to ever see that.
I'll never again say Tom Atkins, but oops, I just did it again.
You just did it again. Stop saying Tom Atkins, but there it is again. Yeah, that's one thing we kind of forgot to mention at the beginning. If you are one like my mom was to watch horror movies with your children, you might want to watch this when it comes on cable or on when it's edited.
Yeah,
because there are a couple scenes. The worst is Tom Atkins, but there it is again.
Oh no. I'm gonna let you say it from now on.
I don't want to say it anymore.
You don't want to say what?
I'm not going to say it. Not going to do it. So, so there are a few things that you might not want your littlest kids to see,
or your mom,
probably a good idea. But it does, the production value is almost TV, TV level. And then John Carpenter's music, it sounds exactly like Halloween music.
Yeah.
So
there's certain parts that are straight out of Halloween, and then there's that, like we mentioned before, that smoke alarm song.
Yeah. Oh, that was awful. It just kept going on and on and on. So this movie, again, it came out in 82. The next one did not come out until 88.
Yeah.
And that was where it was aptly titled The Return of Michael Myers.
Yep.
And they brought him back.
It should have been called The Return of Michael Myers.
We never will talk about Season of the Witch again.
Yes.
So they brought him back, and now there's been like 8,000 movies since then. But I think that was just a misstep in the in the franchise.
It was good in theory, but it didn't work out in real life.
But there you have it.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do with.
Yeah.
Now, again, we had both seen the first two Halloweens. I didn't. I saw this. Well, I saw the mask part, which disturbed me.
Yeah.
At a function that I was at, and normally in movies, kids and dogs are exempt from gore, or at least from seeing it. From seeing something happen to them.
Yeah.
Not so with this one. And in addition to there being snakes, which is just no good.
Yeah.
Seeing the kid, trying to get the mask off and everything. In fact, what it reminded me of, I remember having a dream. You have some dreams that just stick with you. When I was a little kid, it was probably around the time my parents divorced, so it probably has something to do with it. But I had a dream that I was on a stage, my parents were sitting off stage, and these monsters kept coming down from the rigging, from the rafters on ropes. And I kept telling them, go away, go away. And I'd look, wanting my parents' help, and they're just sitting there laughing. And so when I saw this in the movie, it kind of, I think that's what kind of made me
because the
like,
mom is, I think the mom is laughing as
Initially.
it happens to the kid, because she's laughing about something else, but
because they're talking about the dad not getting his order, allowing his order. She's
maybe
like,
Halloween's
maybe there's
canceled.
no Halloween next year, and so that it really, really bugged me.
Yeah.
But then when I did finally sit down and watch the movie, I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't stand the kids. So good on you, movie.
Good job.
But do you remember when you saw it first?
I know that I rented it. Just like I was saying before, I know I had seen the first two Halloween movies. They scared me to death. But despite that, I was like, well, there's another one. Let me watch this one. And then, I saw Season of the Witch, and I didn't see Michael Myers on the box. I must have just watched it at home, probably by myself. My mom didn't watch movies with me, really. I do my own thing. And I remember being really, even though kind of knowing ahead of time Michael Myers isn't going to be this, but I just remember when it was done thinking like, well, that's not very good.
Yeah.
So, and I don't remember details. I mean, actually, before watching it this most recent time, I probably wouldn't have been able to explain the plot to anyone. I had kind of forgotten it. It's been a few years.
I'd seen the tail end of it recently, so I remembered the plot. But yeah.
All I remembered was the song and the masks. That's about it.
Gosh, that stupid song.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of movies like that when we were growing up back in the days of video rentals, where you
pick it based on the cover a lot of
the
times,
cover
right?
alone, and you're just like, oh, cool.
It has a neat cover. I don't know if I mean, I'm sure there's more than one cover. I actually bought this on Blu-ray so that we could watch this time. But the original cover, or at least the one I remember, is still pretty scary looking thing.
This is the one with the kids walking in the moonlight.
Yeah. So
you can't see this, but we're
looking at it.
Yeah, you know what's funny is a couple years ago, around Halloween for us artistic types, there's a thing called Drawloween, and it's
I need to do that.
It's fun. I mean, it's not a competition, but it's good to help you get your drawing mojo going.
Yeah.
And basically, you're given a list, and every day you draw something, what that subject is, and one of them was the moon, and I wasn't even thinking of this movie.
Yeah.
And I basically drew the cover.
Yeah.
I drew a moon, and then there were like 3 or 4 kids with a witch's hat and stuff like that walking in silhouette. And somebody pointed out, they're like, "It looks like Halloween 3." I'm like, well, it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very iconic picture.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be a good movie.
But they're trying to sell it on the name of the franchise, and we were burned many times doing that as kids in video stores.
And it's hard. I mean, at least from my experience as a kid, it was hard. It's hard to disappoint a kid with a movie. I mean, really, when you're a kid, you like everything. Yeah. Not everything, but you like. It's a scary movie. I like it.
You're not as discerning.
Yeah, but I distinctly remember not liking Halloween 3. Yeah. And again, it may have been based on, well, it's not like Halloween.
Yeah. But, I think it's just more disappointing than anything. So well, let's go on to Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
So what do we think is good?
I already got the ugly. Let's say good.
Yeah, well, you get to say it this time. 'Cause I'm not saying it again.
Good.
Special effects were good.
Special effects were really good.
Makeup effects were really good.
We didn't go much into it, but there's a piece in the movie in the hotel in Santa Mira, California. There's a next door neighbor of the main couple in this movie, and she dies. She's tampering with
the button, the
silver
Schumm
thing
button
that causes all this. She's trying to figure out what it is this, and she messes around with it too much, and it reacts, and it basically kind of shoots a laser into her mouth.
It shoots it right into her mouth.
And you don't really see it happen, but you see the aftermath, and it's really gruesome. It looks pretty. Not that I've seen someone like that, but it looks very realistic.
Well, it looks like she blew out.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of is backward.
And then the most disgusting insect on earth, the potato bug or Jerusalem cricket or whatever, crawls out of her mouth, and that's just disgusting.
Well, the scene where the Smith pulls Papa Grimbridge's nose out.
Oh yeah, that's gross too.
That was pretty gross, but it's obvious they're masks.
Yeah.
But it was really well done. And then the scene where Ellibot is attacking Doctor.
Oh yeah.
And he basically dismembers her. And it's not gory because she's a robot. She's filled with like 40 weight.
Yeah.
And she keeps coming at him though.
Yeah, even the pieces of her can come at him.
Yeah, her arm gets ripped off because they crash into a tree, and he fights her off. He beans her with a crowbar, knocks her head off, and then he's closing the door, and then the arm attacks.
Yeah.
And it's a person's arm, but it's blocked right.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it looks too real, so you're going, oh yeah, it's a person's arm.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look fake, like, it's just a plastic arm that he's, holding on his...
They did a really good job of... I mean, they don't have, like, a special, super expensive robotic arm that's doing that, like they would do in a movie. Well, now they just CGI
Well, it's kind of like in 2000 Maniacs.
Oh yeah.
When they
that was
lop
clearly
off her arm,
yeah,
and
that was
it's-
clearly just a mannequin.
Yeah,
arm.
and that's what they could have gone with this, but they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, it looks good.
And then Ellie Bot comes out, her body comes up, and it's missing an arm and missing her head, but the one hand grabs him, and then he pushes her off, and she starts grabbing his leg, and they block it just right, so you see her whole body, and then her one arm grabbing onto his leg,
Yeah.
and then slowly winding down.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a person laying there, but like I said, it's blocked just right so that it
Yeah.
looks real.
Yeah.
You know, because they're supposed, on the outside, they're supposed to look real. They're the thing that clues you into the Smiths and everybody not being real is they have no emotion, and they don't show any kind of emotion. They just yes sir, no sir, and that's it. So it's done really well among the other special effects. That snakes coming out of the mask and stuff, no.
But yeah, if there's a good to this movie, it's that.
Yeah, I'll
It's
give it that.
special
and,
effects.
and the idea wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
It just was poorly executed,
Yeah.
and like I said, hindered by association with Halloween.
Yep.
Which would be a good thing usually. But,
Yeah.
Okay, so bad.
What's bad?
Man, I couldn't stand that family.
Yeah,
So-
the family. You've
so
got sort of
happy.
your it's just your typical tourist. I know they're not tourists, but they're on vacation.
It's like an
sort
obnoxious family from Married with Children.
Yeah, so you got
know.
the typical dad, the typical mom, and the typical bratty kid.
They're very, very cartoony.
Yeah,
They're good people, but they're cartoony, obnoxious.
yeah,
And the dad's just ha ha ha, believe it's it's my wife, that's my kid. The wife is why am I out here, blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the kid is just a brat.
yeah. So
And
just like
so they-
stereotypical.
They're just very cartoony.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
was kind of hard to when I first saw the part a long time ago with the kid in the mask, it bothered me. But then once I got
This
to
time,
know him,
like, well,
not so much.
He's the most evil thing on earth.
Yes, it's like yay movie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's
Yeah.
that's bad.
The ugly. You get to say it this time.
I was trying to think of things that rhyme with Tom Atkins, but oops, I just said it again. But Tom Atkins' butt, that'll be my ugly this time.
Yeah.
I'll just say it.
That was not something I ever wanted to see.
Nope.
Ever in a movie, in real life.
Yep.
Never, ever.
Google Tom Atkins' butt real quick. Oh wait, no, don't.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want to have to burn the
So,
computer after.
that's good, bad, ugly.
So
this one
really-
had all three. Sometimes we can't figure out all three, but this one.
Yeah, this
did.
one.
It's
served them
nice when
both
they
well
have
for them.
a little bit of each.
Yeah. So, worth watching?
Yeah, at least once, just so you can say you watched it. Most people have probably seen one of the Halloween movies.
Yeah.
You know the idea of it. It's nice just to throw Halloween 3 in there, just say, yeah, I saw that one too.
Well, I've seen, I think, the first, let's see, I've seen Halloween. I'm looking at the list. This is exciting radio listening.
Yeah.
I've seen Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, seen 4, seen 5, and I think that's it. And then I did not see the Rob Zombie ones.
I saw the first
Ick.
Rob Zombie ones.
And I did see. No, that wasn't a Halloween one. I was thinking Jason versus Freddy. But
Oh, yeah.
wrong franchises.
Wrong. Yeah. Close.
Oops. So I've actually seen most of them. This is my least favorite.
Yeah.
But the Halloween movies in general are fun. 5 I remember watching and just seeing the people as they come on and go first, second, third,
Yeah.
fourth, as in how quick they're
When they're gonna die. Yep.
And it was spot on. The first two, of course, the first one is a classic. The second one is really good.
Yeah.
They're all diminishing returns as you go, but really, it's not a bad way to not a bad movie to put in for Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to enjoy if you're kind of doing a month of scary movies kind
Yeah.
of thing. So, yeah, worth
Watch it.
watching at least once.
All right.
So there we go. So those are our thoughts on Halloween 3.
Halloween
Season of
3,
the Witch.
Season of the Witch.
So there you have it.
All right.
So, well, I guess that's about it for this time for Bomb Shelter.
Yeah. And if you have any, praise or criticism or questions or suggestions, feel free to
Comments, anything.
anything.
Or requests. We take requests.
We take requests. Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Yep. Happy Halloween.
Don't eat too much candy.
Eat too much candy.
Just eat lots of it. And at 9 o'clock, be sure you put on your silver shamrock mask.
Yeah. Sit in front of the TV.
Sit in front of the TV. And you might want to invest in some Raid.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.